Today, there is no camera because I'm sick. You might notice that in my voice. Uh, so we won't be doing that. But what we will be doing is I have three of the what I presume to be most popular AIs pulled up, and we're going to test them. We'll do a quick test as a person trying to learn English, right? We're going to be pretending to be an English student. I'm going to write out a simple prompt here. We're going to ask them to try and explain a basic concept in English, which is the present simple. One of the first things most people will learn when they're learning English. I want to see how each of these AIs perform, and I will fact check them. I don't think they'll get the things wrong. I expect them to get it right. I just want to see what different methods they use or how they approach the situation. And depending on how things go, maybe in a future video, we'll try testing them with concepts that are a bit more complex. I'm going to go ahead and write the prompt, and I'll see you guys after that. I think I have something that might work. Now, I do know that prompting for AI is actually important. The way you prompt is the way it responds, essentially. I do not have too much experience with writing out prompts, but I think for this situation, this should be enough. I've filled in the position of an ESL teacher. ESL means English as a second language. Explain the concept of the present simple tense. Make sure to provide a variety of examples, along with exceptions to the rules, if any. Give use case scenarios and common tips to help understand it better. Take into consideration that you're teaching this to a beginner student. Okay. I want to say this is enough. We're going to add I think the study and learn might be helpful. This is the free version of ChatGPT, so we're going to see how it performs. And then we're going to use the same prompt for the other ones, all right? We're going to give it some time to think. And it actually thought of the answer pretty quickly. It's fleshing it out right now. And just as a general overview, it seems pretty fine. Exceptions, examples, verbs ending in Y, beginner mistakes, and a student-friendly summary. Okay, let's quickly read through it, or actually, let me have the other ones think as well first. Do you have like a deep research, create images, canvas, guided learning? Okay, I'll go the thinking aspect, and we'll do the guided learning. That might be helpful. And while he thinks, I'll also do this one. What are you verifying? Okay, you want to verify I'm human, it's fine. Let's do study and learn, because that's what we've been using with the other ones. And nothing there. Let's submit it. Let's have them think. This one is currently okay. This one actually is more interactive, and this one is flushing it out. Okay, let's go with ChatGPT first, since this is the first one we did. It says, all right, teacher hat on. Let's walk through this slowly, clearly, and simply, like I would with a beginner ESL student. So first, what is the present simple tense? We use the present simple tense to talk about things that are always true. That's correct. Habits and routines, facts and general information, schedules and timetables. Think of it as a tense for everyday life. Okay, I think that makes sense. It seems helpful. Those are the use case scenarios. For the basic sentence structure, affirmative, which is the sentences we mostly use, I would say, positive sentences, subject and the base verb. I work, you study, we live, and they play. Okay. Important rule, third person singular. Okay, so they do mark the third person singular thing, which I think is always important to know. When the subject is he, she, it, we usually add s or es to the verb. Easy memory check. He, she, it is verb plus s. I mean, I don't think that trick really helps that much because it's basically the same thing they said here. But anyways, for the basic sentence structure as an introduction, this works fine. It gives you the pronouns that don't use the s and the pronouns that do use the s. I guess it might go more into detail later. We'll see. Negative sentences. Do not, and they give you the contraction, and then does not, and they give you the contraction. I don't think they explain what a contraction is. So if a person learning this is not familiar with like what this means, like the apostrophe for contractions, they might be confused. They do give you the structure. So for negatives, you have the subject. You use do or does plus not, and then the base verb. They give you some examples here. I don't work on Sunday. You don't like coffee. We don't live there. They don't play football. And then for he, she, it uses does. It doesn't specify it though, right? Like it doesn't explain why. I always try to tell my students why this happens, right? The reason why it's does instead of do is because the s that you would add to the verb is moved over to the auxiliary, right? Here it doesn't explain the concept of an auxiliary either. So it's kind of very bare bones. We do not add the s to the main verb in negatives. Okay, I mean that's a good tip. That's something I would mention as well. Okay, and it gives you an example of when it's incorrect and when it's correct. For questions, I presume it does the same. Do or does at the beginning, so it gives you the structure. So do or does and the subject and the base verb. So it gives you with the you, they, we, same thing for I, and then it gives you for the he, she, it situation. Again, it doesn't really explain why that happens. I think that's something important to mention. And here, I guess this is a reference to this notice where you don't add the s. I guess people would understand that, but they could make it a bit more clear. Common use case scenarios. So this is kind of a fleshed out version of the first point. Daily routines. I wake up at 7 a.m. She goes to work every day. We eat lunch at noon. It's fine. Facts and general truths. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. The sun rises in the east. Dogs need food and water. I drink coffee every morning. He reads before bed. They exercise on weekends. The class starts at 9 a.m. The train leaves at 6 p.m. The shop opens tomorrow at 8. Okay, I mean, the examples are fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Time words often used with present simple. Um, I suppose this is a good tip to add. Like it's good even if the students don't really know how these work per se. It's good to at least mention them, and then maybe in the future you can go more into detail. But these words help us recognize the tense. Always, usually, often, sometimes never, every day, week, year, on Mondays in the morning. I always wake up early. She usually eats breakfast at home. They never watch TV at night. Okay, like I guess that's like a good addition. It's useful. Exceptions and special cases. Verb to be. Am is are. Okay, so it's getting into the to be, which is important. The verb to be is special. It does not use do or does, and it gives you like a table here, which is good. Am goes with I, are goes with you, be they, is goes with he, she, it. and it gives you examples for each. I am a student, she is tired, they are happy. I am not tired, she is not. Or it gives you the contraction, isn't. They are not, or they give you the contraction, aren't. It would be good to specify that there is no contraction between am and not. I think that would be useful. But apart from that, I think it's fine. Here, it would be useful maybe going more in depth with how the question works, right? Because you're swapping the positions, and maybe somebody that's just like learning this wouldn't truly like realize that at first glance. So more explanation would be useful. What I'm noticing here with ChatGPT is that it feels very bare bones, I have to say. And then verbs ending in y. This is a good thing to mention. If a verb ends in y, change it to I, es for he, she, it, right? So verbs like study, carry, play. Oh, I didn't want to do that. So this is for the cases when you use the third person, right? And you have to add the I, es. It's a good tip to have. So that's fine. And here's the exception. If it ends in a vowel before the y, then you don't really have to do this exception. That's great. Okay, and then I think this is like the last part. Common beginner mistakes and tips. I guess the first one is like not adding the s. I mean, they give you the example for the common mistakes, but they don't really explain like what it is. I know because I work with this, right? But somebody who's like learning this or trying to learn this for the first time, they would need more info, I feel, right? The error here is that they keep the S even though it's a question, right? So you would have to notice that. And here is that they use do instead of does for the subject, third person. Some more tips. S is only in positive sentences, no S in questions and negatives. Okay, it's fine. Student-friendly summary. Present simple for habits, facts, routines. Add S for he, she, it. Use do or does for questions and negatives. Verb to be is special. Okay, and it gives you more options here. It can give you a quiz. It can give you some speaking sentences, fix mistakes, or turn this into a lesson plan. Okay. Again, very bare bones, but I would say it's like an okay introduction. I suppose if a student were to be more curious or would not understand some parts, they can ask ChatGPT to further explain, right? It's kind of like a back and forth. I guess the difference with actually having a teacher is that they would be able to recognize easily like what parts a student is more used to, right? And what parts a student maybe is not as familiar with. Let's go with Gemini. In the case of Gemini, I'm gonna rate them afterwards after like I compare all of them. Gemini gave us like a very short one here, but because it asks questions, so we're gonna focus on that. It says, let's explore the present simple tense together. I'll guide you through the basics with examples, and I'll ask you questions along the way to help you practice. Present simple is often the first tense we learn in English because it helps us describe our world and our daily lives. Think of it as the factory setting for English verbs. It describes things that are generally true or happen regularly. Not really sure what this is that they gave us, but oh, is it interactive? That's interesting. Okay, so it gives us different daily routine activities that you can use, and it gives you a general description of the image. Like already this feels more fun, right? It feels more fun than just like reading this theory. So if I click on it, it just gives me the thing. And if I don't want to click on it, I can just use this. So this image depicts the typical daily routine of a child through a series of illustrations. A daily routine refers to a consistent sequence of activities that occur at the same time each day. For children, a predictable routine can help them feel secure, build good habits, and develop a sense of independence. Okay, the day begins. This is for this one. Okay, so you got wake up. Okay. I mean, again, this is cool and all, but I think this is too much, maybe, ironically, for someone who's like just trying to learn the present simple, if that makes sense, right? Like it would be good if they gave you like an example sentence for each. Like, I wake up every morning at 7. Uh, right? Uh, when I wake up, I have energy. Things like that, right? This seems unnecessary right now, but it's cool, I guess. Okay, what is it used for? We have habits, routines, general truth, states your feelings. So that's all good. And then it gives you these questions for you to answer. So sentence structure, learning how to put a sentence together and how the verb changes when we talk about another person. Uh, what if I say, what if I just say like all of them, right? What will they answer? I guess they're thinking now, so let's give them a second there. Okay, well let's just read. Since we want to cover everything, let's take it one step at a time, starting with how we build a basic sentence. Sentence structure, the S rule. In the present simple, the verb stays in its base form for most people. However, when we talk about one person, we usually add S to the end of the action word. And it gives you the two categories here, base form plus S. I walk to school, she walked to school. Okay. Already, this is better. I think it's like better organized than what ChatGPT threw at us. I don't know if it's because of the thinking mode, maybe. I'm not sure. Spelling exceptions. Sometimes we add ES instead of just S. This happens when a verb ends in the letter CH, SH, S, X, or O. Now this is good because I don't think ChatGPT actually went into detail about that, right? They mentioned that sometimes you would add ES, but they didn't mention when. So this is already really good. It gives you the 6 cases, right? The spelling cases. So let's try a quick practice to see how this works. If the action is eat, how would you change the sentence below to talk about a friend? I eat an apple every day. My friend, I guess we just write the word. So it'd be like eats. And then it thinks some more. You see, this is already very much interactive, right? They're making you practice the things that they're teaching you. So, I mean, Gemini is doing a fantastic job in comparison to GPT. That is exactly right, because my friend is one person, he or she. We have the yes to make it eats. That's the basic for the affirmatives. Now we're going to see the negatives when we say no. So they give you the 2 categories again. Do not play, I don't play tennis. Does not, doesn't play. Okay. The golden rule for does, when we use does or doesn't, the main verb loses its S. The helper verb, okay, they use the word helper instead of auxiliary. I think that's fine. Like a person learning doesn't really need to use the word auxiliary. I think that's more technical. Helper is easier, especially for somebody who's learning. So I think that's actually a really good substitute. It gives you the general rule there, which seems fine. So affirmative, she works here. Negative, she doesn't work here. No S on work. Good. So that points it out fairly clearly. Use case, daily routines. We use this to talk about things we don't usually do. I don't drink coffee in the morning. My cat doesn't like water. Okay. And it gives you practice again. Let's try to transform a sentence. So the affirmative sentence is he speaks Spanish. Okay. How would you change that to say no? So it'd be he doesn't speak Spanish. I guess we just write the answer here. I always have trouble with the apostrophes on my keyboard because I don't really use them that much. But well, right. So that's good. We are changing the doesn't, or we are adding the doesn't, sorry, and then we're taking away the S from the speak. Then it's going to answer spot on. I don't know what this little ES means. Anyway, because we use doesn't, the S moves. Okay, that's all good. Our final piece, questions. The front runner. Okay, that's an interesting concept that they're going to introduce. To ask a question in the present simple, we put our helpers, do or does, at the very beginning of the sentence. I like how they're explaining it. The helper, do or does, then you have the subjects, the main verb that doesn't change, and then the example. It's all good. Okay, question form of the present perfect looks like this. Okay, now you see, getting into the present perfect when somebody's asking about the present simple, it's a very big jump. First off, because present perfect is a past tense, even though it's called a present perfect. So this might be very confusing for a student. Okay. Has, he, and verb. Have, I, you, we, they, and verb. So, I mean, it's correct. It's very, like, it's a bare bones structure. It gives an explanation here. I just don't understand, like, why they would mention it, or is it? I feel like that would be confusing for somebody trying to learn. Anyways, just like with negative sentences, if we use does, the main verb has no S. Okay. We use the questions to find out about people's lives and habits. Do you live near here? Does your brother play soccer? Okay. And here it would be do, they, and then the word is live. So we just do that. Do, and then we do live. Right? I don't know if like I had to write the whole thing. No, okay, it takes it, right? You can just write it like that. I didn't even use like capital or anything, so it's fine. Okay, so the interactive level is good. I'm gonna leave it there. I think that's like a very fair assessment. What the hell is this? This image provides a comprehensive chart of adverbs of frequency. Okay, so the problem I fear with Gemini is that it does a great job at explaining, and the interaction is fun, right? It feels like you're learning, but the images, it randomly pops out with these images that give you like very detailed information about topics that for somebody who's learning the present simple, it's going to be confusing. Like the present simple is normally one of the first things you learn. So jumping into a present perfect, adverbs of frequency, or complex explanations like in the first image, I feel like that's a bit too much. In comparison to ChatGPT, though, Gemini is awesome, right? For now, let's see Copilot. So Copilot, just like skimming over it, it seems to have a similar structure to how ChatGPT managed things. It feels bare bones visually. We'll see how it performs. But let's see how to form it. Okay, so it starts off with the structure. It gives you the subjects that you use with the base form, and then it gives you the subjects that you use with S or ES. And then it gives you some examples for each. And I guess it also goes into cases, like use cases. So it's very like compact. The sun rises in the east. I wake up at 7 a.m. Water boils at 100 Celsius. And we go to school every day. It's fine. They give you the exception to the writing, but specifically with the Y. Okay. So if a verb ends in Y, change the Y to an I and then add the ES, but only after consonant. Okay, it's correct, very compact. It's good. Gives you two examples. He studies English, she carries a bag. And then the writing for the verbs ending in these cases, where you add the ES instead of the S. So good. Then it gives you the use case scenarios again, the daily routine, schedule, facts, and feelings sometimes. So I brush my teeth every morning. The train leaves at 9 o'clock. Cats like milk. I love chocolate. All good. Common tips. Uh, remember he, she, it at S and ES. Use time words to help. Okay? It gives you the adverbs. It gives you an example. I always drink coffee in the morning. Don't confuse with present continuous. I am eating. Present simple is for things that happen regularly, not right now. This is a good distinction, and it kind of moves you towards the right direction. Because after seeing the simple version of a tense, normally what you want to do is check the continuous version, right? Because every time you have a simple tense, you have a continuous counterpart. So moving from present simple to present continuous is is good. Like it's how you would maybe approach things, and then it gives you practice. Um, what do you think the answers are? Okay, so maybe I'll say for number one, it's plays, and then for number two, I guess I should write the numbers. So for number one, it's plays, and then for number two, it is watches with an ES, right? Let's see if they accept this as like a correct answer, right? I wonder if they take it as like a correct answer. Or do you have to like write the whole thing? Uh, oh, I did that wrong. I was reading something else. It's just they watch without the ES. I read it as she. But anyways, it's good that we have the mistake because now it like corrects it. So she, and then she's a third person, add the S, okay? And then they plural, use the base form, no S, they watch TV every night. Okay, yeah, so it gives you the correction there. It's the same sentence, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. And then they give you the tip again. And then they say, would you like me to give you a short multiple choice quiz? Let's say sure. Let's have them give me the multiple choice quiz. Let's see how they perform on this. Great, let's practice with a short multiple choice quiz on the present simple tense. Try to answer each one, and I'll help you check afterward. Oh, and it's actually interactive. That's great. I don't think ChatGPT like gave me anything, right? I feel okay. So we'll talk about it later. But it has the multiple choice. Let's do it. I think it's just 5 questions. Which sentence is correct in the present simple tense? So she going? No. She go? No. She gone? No. She goes. Okay. And it gives you the explanation of why it's correct. It's fine. Choose the correct verb form. It's just play, right? Yeah. And then which of these is a fact stated in the present simple tense? That's continuous. That's a future. That's a past. So it's this one. And then my father watches, because, yeah. And then which time expression is often used with the present simple tense? Every day. Cool. It's nice. It's like motivating. You get to take another quiz. You can study with flashcards. Okay. I think I've seen enough. I'm gonna give my verdict. I do feel Copilot and Gemini, they do really good jobs. Copilot is very simple, very compact, very straightforward. Gemini is very detailed. I do really like the interactiveness of Gemini as well. The problem I did notice with Gemini is that it can kind of drive you away of what you're trying to learn because it starts talking about different topics. And although those other topics are related to what you're learning, they can confuse someone, especially at this level, right? We're talking about a beginner who's like just trying to learn present simple. So for more complex things, I have a prediction that Gemini will do really good, right? For more complex things. For this specific topic, I think Copilot did the best job, just because it keeps it simple and the interactiveness beats whatever ChatGPT tried doing. Now, not to say bad things about ChatGPT or anything, the information is correct. It's very passive, right? It takes a lot more initiative from the user, which is not necessarily bad, but in a teaching setting, I feel like the teacher kind of drives the student forward, right? And I did not feel that with ChatGPT. So on a scaling, I'll say ChatGPT is like a 5. Like the information is there, it's correct. It's very bare bones. It's lacking, right? Um, but it's it's something, right? Gemini, I want to say Gemini is like a 7. Very good detailed information. It just kind of might scare a new student. Okay. In the future, if we use this for more complex things, I feel like Gemini might do really good. Copilot, very simple explanations, but it gets the point across. That's important. It does have a level of interactiveness that I would expect from a teacher. So just because of that, I think it was the best option. Not perfect though, because I feel like it could have a bit more initiative in the explanations. So I'll give it like a 7.5 or an 8. Just slightly above Gemini, mainly because it doesn't scare the student off. I want to say that was like the determining factor between Gemini and Copilot. But still, I do think AI is a really useful tool for learning in general if you learn how to use it, right? So I'll see you guys for the next video, and we'll see what other activities we come up with.